My name is Craig Tarwater. I'd like to welcome you to this video school of guitar production, How to Play Great Acoustic Guitar, Level 3. This is the last in a series of this particular subject. We're going to have a really good time today showing you a lot of things about chords, scales, playing them in sequences, and especially one of the most fun parts of all, any style of guitar playing, is the arpeggios. Okay, so before I give you a tune-up note, I'll give you a tune-up night later, like when you try this video out tonight. I'd like to recommend these 3 books to you. I'll show them to you quickly. We feature them at all times, and we have them if you'd like to get them, or you can get them from the publisher, which is Edwards Music Publishing. These are called Fretboard Logic. These books simply and clearly help you visualize the fingerboard once and for all without having to memorize 100,000 different things. Just about 3,000. No. Anyhow, this is Fretboard Logic, the original. It deals primarily with the pentatonic scales and the 5 shapes that they fit in from major chords. Okay, next we have Fretboard Logic 2, which deals with the diatonic scales, which will be your major and minor scales, and the arpeggios that result from them. Okay, and this is quite a bit different than the first one, but it's also very good. And last but not least is the newest volume, which took 5 years to write and is approximately 140 plus pages. This is Fretboard Logic 3. This is the applications manual and the overview of how to use the knowledge you've acquired from the first 2. Okay? So these are very good. These will help you figure it out once and for all. Above and beyond that, it's up to you to stylistically make your own interpretations, as always. So let's go ahead and have a tune-up note, and this will be in A, 5th string open. I'll give you a 12th fret harmonic also a couple of times. Boy, I wish my electric guitar would ring that long. Okay, now if you'll pay close attention to my left hand, I will show you a couple of things here that you need to know. We're going to learn this song that I played in the beginning, and basically it works in the key of C and then it goes to the key of A. So first of all, I'd like to show you some really nice chords to play on the inside 4 strings. That will be your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th strings. And there'll be a few chords I'll show you along with it that are on the first 4 strings, and there'll be a couple of chords that also use notes on the 6th string and some of the notes in between there and the 1st string. So first, let's get started. This is the rules of jazzy, bluesy, jazzy guitar. You need to know this stuff. Okay, so first we have a C major 7. We also have a C major 7 right here. You can finger this any way you want. There's a B note on the 7th fret and a straight bar across the 5th fret up to the 4th string. That's a C major 7 also. Then we have a C major 7 right here. That's the 8th fret, 9th fret, 4th string, 9th fret, 3rd string, and 8th fret, 2nd string. Then we have one other one, and we're doing this for the benefit of those who don't have a cutaway on their acoustic guitar. So this is about one of the places where you stop playing, right where the body comes up. Okay, so this is a C note on the 10th fret, and a straight bar across the 12th fret. When I was younger and smaller, I used to play all three of those. I can still do it. Amazing. Anyhow, that's a C major 7. So these were all C major 7 chords. We also have the open chord. Very pretty chord if your guitar's in good tune. It's a little out of tune, it sounds a little edgy. So check your tuning. Okay, next we have a D minor 7 chord. We can start down here. It's the first 3 notes of an F chord with an open 4th string. We can also use the A and the bass on the 5th string, sometimes. Have to watch that one. Okay, our next D minor 7 that we can play is right here. Actually, we'll do that way. Okay, so we have D, F, C, and F again. And on the rhythm track, you'll hear, or if you pay attention, you'll hear we are first going to play along with some rhythm. However, let's finish up with our D minor 7 chords. Okay, this is the one that a lot of people already know. You may know this, but there might be a few people who think they're level 3 players and don't know this chord. So this is for them, those of you. Okay, we can also put the pinky down there and add some color to the chord, because we can do. And that was using a pentatonic scale. Another pretty chord we can use that comes out of the minor chord family is the D minor 9. This is the practical voicing, which is like that. Now, an important thing you might consider, a person might say, well, what scale do I play over that chord? One of the scales you can play is what's called Dorian, and that scale is basically a C major scale starting from the note D, and we'll go into that in a little bit. Another scale you can play is the F major scale, and as far as the logic of the fingerboard, i.e. fretboard logic, that would be what's called a D form of the F, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Okay, so the only other thing this song does, besides going from C major 7 to D minor 7, is it goes to some form of G dominant. What we can do there is we can play what's called a G7 sus. So merely, if you play a G7 bar chord and put your pinky down on the C note at the 5th fret, 3rd string, you'll notice that your second finger doesn't have to stay there because it doesn't do anything anymore. It's been, in effect, cut off by the higher finger. Okay, so that's our G dominant chord. And then when this song goes from D minor 7 to G7 sus, there's another voicing, by the way. Then we move to the key of A. Okay, so what happens here is we have what we call 2-5-1. In C, we're going D minor 7, some type of G dominant chord, G7, G9, G13, any of those, G11, G7 sus, then to C major 7 or C major 9. Okay, so what that makes us is 2, 5, 1. If you always wondered what Roman numeral 2, Roman numeral 5, and Roman numeral 1 meant, you now know. Alright, so the same thing happens in the key of A for this part of the song. B minor 7. In this case, I'm using an E9. And then I'm going to the 1 chord, the A major 7. So let me show you a couple of things about A chords for this song. And we'll start right here. It's a straight bar. It's the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. And you can either use your 3rd, which for me is an uncomfortable stretch, so I use my pinky. And I have 2 fingers doing nothing. But that's fine for now. This is an A major 7 right here. Okay, and then this is a low A major 7. So basically what we have here is what we call E6. And we just use the 5th string along with it. So this is an inside 4-string chord, unless you choose to add the 1st string, which is E. The chord is A major 7. So you have A major 7, A major 7, and then we have this A major 7 here, which is just like the one we showed you for the key of C. So this, of course, is the name note of the chord, the 5th string, or 6th string with the 5th fret, an A. A major 7, just to let you know, G major 7, F major 7, and if you just use the open 2nd string and the open 6th string, you can play an E major 7. So that's a movable chord is what we call it. Same with this one for the C. C major 7, B major 7, B flat major 7, D major 7, E major 7, E flat major 7, F major 7, so forth and so on. Okay? Anyhow, continuing on in the A chords, this is one we didn't show you for C, but I'll show you how to get it there right now. This is a real pretty chord. This is what the piano would play when they play every other key starting from an A. Very beautiful chord. Okay, so that's an A major 7 also. And to play it in C, you merely move up to A, B, C, and you have the same chord. Okay, so we need to look at some B minor 7s. Here's a B minor 7. That's the same as this D minor 7 for the key of C. Move down from D to C to B. The reason I'm counting down the names of movement is so you can be sure, if you happen to know where a C or a B is, how to, or D, you can quickly get where you're going. One time the question was put to me, how do I get where I'm going? And my answer was, you can't get there from here. That's a little joke. Anyhow, so we have B minor 7 right here, and we can also play a B minor 7 here. Let me show you how to remember how to find it. That's 9th fret, 4th string, 11th fret, 3rd string, and that's the 10th fret, 2nd string, and the 10th fret, 1st string. So now watch what happens when I take this chord and go down in half steps. There's that D minor 7 I showed you a little while ago, played with the last 3 fingers. The top 3 notes of an F chord and the open D string. Okay, so that makes you go, if you move it up, the first string to the 9th fret, 4th string, the first finger that is. My strings and my fingers sometimes get mixed up. That makes you a B minor 7. Okay? Alright, now, another thing I think that would be a good time to do right here is to show you a couple of chords for the G7s other than just G7s or G7 sus, and also for the E7s. These are the dominant chords in the 2 keys this song switches back and forth between. So for a G7, if we play it like okay, and then we put our pinky down right there on the 2nd string, 5th fret, we have a G13. If we flatten the pinky across the 1st string, we still have a G13, but we have a chord voicing that has the high A on top, and it makes it sound real good. Another thing we can do is if we move the 4th finger down 1 fret, we wind up with what's called a G7 sharp 5 flat 9. So you might want to get out your chord dictionary for that one if you can't see this. But the G13, and then that allows you to move a little melody into the C chord. Okay, and we can try that on this song too. Now, so in the G13, the only other place we can play that G13 is the same exact voicing, is we play 5th string, 8th fret, 4th string, 9th fret, 3rd string, 9th fret, and 2nd string, 10th fret. And we can also move just the pinky, and we wind up with our flat 9 sharp 5 chord. And then we can go into that C major 7. Okay, so for the E7, to play it as a 13, you can merely move this down whoops, maybe I better go to the right spot, right there. Okay, one of the ways to remember how these 13 chords work on the inside 4 strings is you take a 9th chord and you restructure your fingering like so, and you play the D note, which makes it a dominant chord or makes it a E7, down on the 5th string. So we take a 9th chord and we merely move, that's our 6th note or our 13 tone, and we play it that way. So in other words, it's almost like a E6 with an added 9th chord, but we just take the E and drop it down, and then that turns it into a dominant chord. And then we can drop the 9th down, flat it, and play our A major 7 right there. Okay, so let's try this along with the song for a little bit and see how it works.
California swing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
You try it. Back to C. D minor 7, C, D minor 7, C, D minor 7, D minor 7, D. That's real fast right there. Watch how it is. 2, 5, 1. Okay, back to C. Back to C. You should be playing rhythm right now. Having fun? I am. You have to bob and weave your head too, that helps. Makes you real jazzed. Great. Really good, really good. We'll get a chance to do this a couple more times now. Okay, I think it's time for us to approach some scales and arpeggios, so with that we'll go to a close-up of the left hand for you. Alright, here's the left hand we promised you. So, what I'd like to do is show you my system for arpeggios, and we'll do this in the key of C first. Then we can backtrack and do some of the A stuff because we need to know both keys. Okay, generally, most of the arpeggios will work for the entire song form. Since the song form here is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 5, 1. have scale shapes and arpeggios. You may know some of these, you may not. We need to do them for those who don't know them. All right, so with the position being the second position, second fret, first finger, first, second, third, fourth finger frets. That's the way we play the instrument. Let's do the C major 7 arpeggio. Okay, and we can start it on a B note. Here it is. Okay, as far as fingering of this arpeggio, there's a couple of ways to do it. You can finger it this way. You may change your fingering going up the arpeggio, ascending it, and descending it. You may not. You can also finger it this way. As you may have noticed, this note has a different character in its sound than this one. This one's softer, this one's more bright. So that's a point to consider. Now, of course, your C major scale that's in there, which is highly useful, is what's described in Fretboard Logic 2 as a diatonic A form. And it is G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. That's how you want to be able to play it if you don't already. If you play it better than that, I'll hire you. Okay, now moving on to our second arpeggio, the D minor 7, we're going to do it this way. And we have to make considerations for the non-cutaway acoustic guitarists amongst you, and we'll do that shortly. Okay, this is D minor 7 arpeggio. It's an awful lot like a D minor pentatonic scale. That's the D minor pentatonic scale. Here's the arpeggios. Okay, and I'm going to show you a nifty little trick in a little bit. In fact, let me show you one trick right now. Descending the D minor 7 arpeggio to, and that's the first 3 strings, to the C major 7 arpeggio. So you get this kind of a thing. You can do that too. You can ascend. Okay, now let's go on and do a few more arpeggios. E minor 7 is exactly the same as D minor 7, but instead of being in 5th position, it's in 7th position. Okay, and we're going to quit here pretty quick, about right around here, I think. and this is the F major 7 arpeggio. It can also be led off from the E note. Once again, the fingering is optional. Or it sort of depends on which fingering allows you to play it gracefully and quickly. And that's something you have to work out for yourself, because I don't know how your hands work. Okay, now this is where we're going to go shift down into a lower position again. And we'll go down and show you a G7 arpeggio. Okay, and you can also do it here. That's kind of an extended one. That's a little tough to follow. It can also be done this way. Actually, that winds up being technically a G9 arpeggio, and it's also, of course, if it is a G9 arpeggio. That makes it a B minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio also, which is actually the last of the arpeggios in C. But first let's finish. We were at G7, so we can do this one. We can do this one, a smaller arpeggio. There's nothing wrong within an arpeggio adding a note that's not technically part of it. That gives you a melodic content you wouldn't otherwise have. So I'm giving you a few suggestions there to try them out. Okay, on from the G7 arpeggio, we would have the last two arpeggios, which will be A minor 7 and B minor 7 flat 5. Don't let that scare you, that flat 5. It's nothing. In fact, every single note I've been playing in the correct arpeggios is from the C major scale, which is C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So I haven't been using any notes in the actual arpeggio shapes I'm showing you that were not C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. Okay, here's an A minor 7 arpeggio, and I'll show you that with the notes. Okay, A, C, E, G, A, C, E, G, A, C. All right. You can also play that down here, down low. You'll notice that it's a lot like a C major pentatonic scale, even though it's an A minor 7 arpeggio. The important thing I think for you to remember here, just in the key of C, or any key, is the first chord and the sixth chord are related. They're direct relatives. You can use one for the other, as long as you're careful. the fourth chord, and the second chord are exactly the same relation. And the fifth chord, oops, and the third chord. Okay, so the last chord, the B minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio, is right here. This is a good place to learn it. So the notes are B, D, F, A, B, D, F, A. And that's a long stretch. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 frets. Some people stretch 7 frets, but they must be made out of rubber. Sort of sounds cascading like a waterfall. And you can do little chromatic tricks like that to run up to it. And that especially bails you out if you can't play the arpeggio in all the different positions. Of course, I'm old. I can't play anymore. I just teach now. Okay, so let's try some of these arpeggios with our song and see what happens, all right? And you watch my hand very closely.
California swing. 1,
Yeah,
2,
sure.
1, 2, 3.
Use a little bit of a scale there. Okay, yep, into A now. Remember the A major 7 chord, one note at a time, it's an arpeggio. Okay, back to C. Here's a neat little trick. That was an F major 7 arpeggio, descended. So what I did is I went, I'll have to wait until we get back to C, so let's do it in A. Okay, now. Small chord triad arpeggios too. Of course, you have to watch where you're going. have a scale around each one of those. Another thing that's important for you to know is that less is more, okay? That's very important. So one thing I'd like to show you now is my right hand, and I'm going to show you a few things about fingerstyle. Now I use a pick and my fingers, okay? So the C major 7 chord that I showed you early on in the video, I use the pick to pick the 5th string. I use my 2nd finger for the 4th string, my 3rd finger for the 3rd string, and my 4th finger for the 2nd string. If you do them all at once, it has a very soft percussive attack. And the D minor 7 uses the same fingering. And if you just move the pick up to the 6th string for the G13. Okay, see that? Okay. So that can be used in the A major 7. Now, if I take the pick and put it aside on my knee for a second, I use conventional fingerstyle, then the thumb does the C note, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fingers, and even the 4th can do. So I can do all 5 strings at once, because I have how many? 1, 2, 3, anyhow, you see 5 appendages there. Okay, so you can play 5 strings. There we're skipping the 5th string, we're not using it. Okay, and my fingers are pretty tight because I claw. And that's one of the fingerstyle functions. A lot of people don't claw, they just pull off like this. I don't know how they do it though. I have to claw. Eagle talons, folks. So you can arpeggiate your chord that way, fingerstyle, can't you? C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7. Since I have a cutaway, I'm going to keep on going. G7, the A minor 7, and B minor 7 flat 5. Okay, so let's try that with the track and just see what happens.
California swing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
To A, bad, huh? Play finger style. A lot of the guys in Nashville just use their thumb and finger for the speedy runs, like. But that's easier said than done. Great. Okay, that was real good. Now, we're going to show you how to put all these things together in sort of a different situation. A jazz minor blues, which is in the key of C minor, and the chords are C minor 7, F minor 7, G sharp 7, or A flat 7, whichever you prefer, down to G7, and then back to the E minor or the C minor 7. The scale source for this entire tune is the E flat major scale. And I'm hoping that this will lead you to believe me as I tell people day in and day out, please practice your scales, please do something creative with your scales, and watch what happens. Okay? For instance, if you're playing an E flat major scale, you can play it in sequence. You play a note, pick another note, pick another note, pick another note, play notes that are next to each other, play notes that are a long ways apart. Try playing the whole scale in fourths. Or whatever you want to do like that. You'll find that if you do that, and if you try mixing your related chords, in this case we have a C minor blues, so our related chord to to C minor 7 is the E flat major 7. Voicings you've already been shown that you should remember. And some other pretty voicings. I'll explain a few of those when we start. So go ahead and watch my left hand and we'll roll this tape and I'll show you a few things. There's a minor 11 shape. It's just a bar on the first four with the second finger on the second string. Take a little pause here for a second. I want to show you also a nice nifty trick what to do when you have this. Also a couple of extra chords I think you would like to know for this song. C minor 6. The chord is best played by fretting a G on the 3rd fret and then playing, use your 3rd finger for that G by the way, then playing an F13 chord, which you may remember from G13 as being fingered like this. We'll restructure it to be like this. Move it down. So you have E flat, A, and D played with the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fingers on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd frets. And then you put the 3rd finger up here and you have a C minor 6 chord. Okay? Now you can also, if you're double jointed or if you're good at craftily overextending your 3rd finger here, you can also play, I can't do it, some guys can. There, I did it, I had to. Anyhow, that's a C minor 6, but it has a 9th on top. If you wanted to just play an F7 with a G in the bass note, you would have what's called a no root, no C in other words, C minor 6. Whoops, I lied. I catch myself all the time. There's the C on top, so it does have a root. Anyhow, so you have C minor 6, C minor 6, 9, same shape in F, F minor 6, F minor 6, 9. You can also play a C minor 9 and an F minor 9, same shapes. All the time my melodic source is the E flat major scale or C minor, same thing. Okay, let's continue a little bit and we'll try some of these new chords. Oh, most important, before we do continue, the line that you can use to get by this, if you have a buddy or a girlfriend, that's always nice if you have a girlfriend playing guitar. That's the most fun. Because after you're done playing guitar, well, I won't say anything more. The line is the melodic minor scale from A, and you can play that from, from A flat. You can play it from here, you can play it from here, and what it does is it it makes it sound really sweet. To get back to your C. So the basic scale is like this then. And the melodic minor scale is a great scale to know if you don't know it. Here it is in its entirety from A flat. A flat, B flat, B, D flat, E flat, F, G, and then it repeats again. A flat, B flat, B, D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat. And you can also go up to the B flat and to the B right there. So as soon as I catch this half step turnaround thing on the dominant chord, and I say half step because it's a common thing that's done, then I'll demonstrate that arpeggio. And it's commonly done all the time. You can go a half step. Okay, so let's try that and see what happens. Coming up here pretty quick. Okay, right here. Minor 6/9 chord. Again. Get in trouble. Just descend on a flat major scale. Well, I hope you've really enjoyed that a lot, and that you've learned something from all of this rambunctious instruction that we love to deliver here at Video School of Guitar. We'll probably have some subjects that are specialized sometime down the road on these things, and if you have any questions about what you've been learning here, feel free to write to me, Craig Tarwater, in care of Video School of Guitar, Post Office Box 129, Walla Walla, Washington, and I will try and answer your questions for you. Okay? So, with that, we're going to play here on the same song, and I'm going to disappear pretty quick, and as soon as I do, the rest of the song is yours to play until it ends. Okay? Here we go. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Minor Blues.